Hey gang, East Coast Lumberjack. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please subscribe, give me a thumbs up. And today we're going to talk about new machines. I have acquired, it's a long story, a couple of machines that'll help me here in the shop with axes. So the biggest thing was they needed three-phase power. So to get three-phase power, I had to get an electrician in town, Arc Electric. They had to come out and put this big unit in. It's just got a couple of massive magnets inside of it. Apparently it bumps up my 220 coming in this line right here. So that line there is 220 coming in. Bumps it up to 480. And then of course it swings it across. When it comes into this little unit, this here makes it, tunes it back to 380 volt and then makes it three-phase power. And it comes out and then of course runs down to my machines. Now, the guy I got the machines from, really interesting fella. He repairs surgical instruments. The name of his company is CSI, and he's got a laser welder. He does really fine work, beautiful work, unreal. German. He's a German craftsman. Make no mistake about it. And when he came here to New Brunswick, he brought all of his big machines with him from his shop. So he recently moved to a new place. He had to downsize a little bit, so a couple of these machines were up on the chopping block, and thankfully, having played around with them a little bit up at his place and knowing what they're capable of, I was able to get secure a couple of these machines. Now I want to show you the plug-in on them. Okay, so this is the plug-in. Okay, 5-prong, very unique. I left them there because it is cool. It's neat to talk about, showing people that, and they say, where the world did that come from? It came from Germany. So there's 3 phases there. The 3 of the prongs are three-phase power, then there's the neutral and the ground. So I have each machine with their plug-in so that whatever machine I want to use, I'll just plug it in. I can only use one machine at a time, so I plug in either one or the other machine. Now, this here is my first machine. Okay. Now this here is just, that's my polishing stone that just come off of a guard. So this is the first one here. Okay, it's got 2 big arms on the side of it, and it's got this big buffing wheel. And it'll buff. It'll polish your axes to a mirror finish in a heartbeat. Okay, it spins around 1400 RPM. And this big buffing wheel, and then of course your compound, you just put some compound on the wheel and hold it in there till it buffs it up really nice to a nice shine. It actually has startup phase, delta phase, and then you click it to run. It'll go forward and reverse, which is very cool. So this is a polisher, and eventually I will show you how we're going to polish up a few axes. But before we get there, of course, we have to shine them up. So I've got a couple of axes here laying around. Got one over here. I know my bench is a mess. I've been going right out straight here, splitting wood. So this is the first one. Okay, and this is the before. Okay, so just you can see what it looks like. And we'll get all spilled something all over it there. So that's one of them there. It's in. It's not in too bad a shape, but this guy here is in real rough shape. Okay, so this is your typical find along in a field or wherever. Okay, so it's in rough shape. And we're going to shine them up on this machine. So the other machine I have a polisher. Then I have this baby here. Okay, it's a sander. And it takes this 2-inch belt. This side here is just about worn out. I got to replace this side. It's about a 220 grit. And the other side over here is an 80 grit. And they've got large wooden wheels, and then the outside of it is all done in strop leather to hold the belt. It goes up to the top here to a large weighted wheel for counterbalance. This dial here, you can actually spin this and crank it up to put tension on your belt. And then the handle right here, it can spin and turns that top wheel this way and this way to keep it centered on your bottom wheel. Okay, so I have a couple of different belt wheels you can see in the back here. I've got some that are convex, some that are concave, some that are wide and flat. So a number of different wheels that came with these from the belts. So it's a pretty neat outfit. It's a pretty cool. I mean, I've seen sanders in my day, but man, this is a flippin' awesome sander. So I got a few new filters for my mask, because running these machines and with all that grinding dust. Back when I used to grind a lot of axes, it caused me problem breathing. So word of the wise, when I run these things now, I wear a mask. So I want to try buffing up one of these axes, and I want to film it for you. So I'm gonna set you guys over here, and you guys can watch as I run the new machine and polish up an axe. So we're going to start with this guy. So the other thing about these machines, I know now from experience, you need some gloves on or you're going to lose a little bit of bark off your hands, I'll tell you that. So I do have some gloves right here, and I'll get my mask, and then we'll go at one of these axes.
I am your father. Okay.
So, pretty impressive rig, and it doesn't take long to knock some steel off. And of course, the only drawback with that is because you're knocking off so much steel so fast, it heats up pretty fast. So this, the axe head is she's pretty hot right now. So the top is pretty much done. Nice and shiny. This side here, getting close. Now, of course, the debate is always, do you actually clean that out the entire way, take all the pitting out of it to make it nice and shiny, or do you leave some of the pitting in it? So I am likely going to take it all out for this one. Try to make it just as shiny as I can. But of course, in order to do that, I've got to take off a little bit more steel, which means it's going to be fairly narrow through the eye. All right, but so what I'll do, I'm going to let that cool down now for a bit before I spark it up and do that again. But I did want to show you the machines. So these are German machines. They're REMA, R-E-M-A, and 380 volt, right around 6 to 8 amp. Each one of them, one's 6.8, the other one's 8 amp, and they turn up pretty good. So I couldn't wait to get this one because I've seen the sander, and I seen him take a 2x4 and actually sand through it in 5 seconds. So I knew it would sand pretty fast. So that's a new addition to the East Coast Lumberjack Workshop out here in the shop. I did have some issues with the machine once I got it hooked. I tried one of those Japanese rigs where you plug it in and try to bump up your power, your 220 to 380, and it worked a little bit, but it wound up cooking the engine on me. So I don't know what I did wrong. In all honesty, like I said, I know nothing about electricity, so it didn't work. So I had to get the big guys in, and I can't say online how much it cost me because my wife led me in the doghouse for about 2 years. But it is substantial. I mean, you save on electricity in the long haul, but it's quite a price tag to get it all set up with. So the 2 units were almost $5,000 alone. The 2 wall units. Then you have to get them hooked up. So anyways, it's quite interesting. I was very interested to see how long it'll take me to go through a belt. This one belt is, I'd say it looks like it's half worn here now, and that was just for one axe. So I may have to find out where to get these belts because I do have a little supply. He gave me quite a supply of belts. But once I go through those, of course, then I've got to find something. So that's the machines here at East Coast Lumberjack. I'll finish that double bitter, and then I'll show you the polisher. I'll come back and I'll put on another video running the polisher and show you how that spruces them up at the end. But it is they are pretty impressive rigs now that they're working, and I'm still learning how to run them, how to figure them out. So anyways, East Coast Lumberjack this week on the big German machines and showing you how they run. So tune in next time. We'll go through another machine, and the other thing I do have on the bench, the bench is a mess, and as soon as I clean it off, I'm going to be filing up the last few chains to look at what causes a chain to cut sideways, to cut in a circle. And I've got 5 chains, all brand new, all filed a little bit differently. Some have the rakers off on one side, some have the rakers off on another side, or depth gauges, to see, to answer the question once and for all, what really causes the chain to scoop. So I'm looking forward to that. It may be a long video, but it'll be very interesting. I know you guys will want to watch how each one of those performs, because I'll be taking one chain off, cutting with it, put another chain on, cutting with it, and seeing what causes what switch and how the chain cuts. So stay tuned for that. Subscribe so you get it when it comes out. East Coast Lumberjack signing off.